not only do they make it feel like a bullet point and choppy,
Mm.
this is actually, I always dislike when I see writers do this because you're taking what really should be seen as one action in the mind movie and you're chopping like her head tipped back, I see that. Her mouth fell open, I see that. Her eyes rolled white, I see that. Like it's these choppy
Mm.
vignettes as opposed to Tara's head dipped back, comma, mouth falling open, comma, eyes rolling white. Like we see that as one when it's all in the one sentence with
Yeah.
the different phrases attached to it as opposed to simple
Mhm.
sentences. And then it just flows so much better. We see it as one action, her head tipping back, her mouth opening up, and her eyes rolling wide in one moment of time, as opposed to three separate moments of time. And it also gets rid of all those excessive pronouns and everything else. Releasing your inner dragon. Alrighty, so welcome to another exciting episode of Releasing Your Inner Dragon. We're going to do yet one more live critique because some poor soul was brave enough to send us something to have us rip it apart in the public forum of YouTube. So while we're setting this up, a few caveats that we always do. First of all, remember, these are all our opinions. Me and Marie have opinions. We're going to say our opinions. They're opinions. You can agree with them. You can disagree with them. Opinions are always right. Your opinions are right. My opinions are right, even if they're opposite. If you would like to be a part of this, if you want to offer up something of yours for critiquing, please do so. Send it to ReleasingYourInnerDragon at gmail.com. Links down below. We're also looking for first page reads. So that is a show we do a couple times a year where we read and try to enlighten people on when someone from the industry would reject it and kind of why and some thinking about that. If you do want to send your first page to us, make sure you put in the email that it is for first page reads. Otherwise, we might throw it into the live edit pool. I don't think I missed anything.
No.
So
Um,
what do we have today?
Today we have Book 1, Try 2, Chapter 1, which has been sent to us by a reader, and I think it's sci-fi, if I remember the description correctly.
I like, so it's so funny. Even last night we got into this, and we get into this all the time in the writer's room where they're like, would it kill you guys if I edited this and bring it back? Like, no, that's what we're here for. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and not only is it cool to see where, the writer took it, how they
Mm.
improved it or whatever. It helps us out too because we can say, oh wow, look, we saw it there and now we see it here and look at how improved it is, and that helps us stay motivated. So
Yeah.
I love seeing things, 2, 4, 10, 12, 300 times. I mean,
Yeah,
I read my own work that many times, so why not?
you are more than welcome to resubmit to us all the time. Can't guarantee that we'll always get to you, but at the moment the queue is fairly light, so feel free. And we had one in our last critique that was also a second try,
Hmm.
and it was a great experience reading it again.
Hmm.
So, yeah. All right. So, I'm going to kick us off by reading, and then we'll stop and discuss as we go.
Hmm.
Tara took a deep sniff of the blood-thick air as the old man's plea clenched her heart like a carbon silica seal on a lunar bulkhead. Lightning strobed through the windows of the barely converted shipping container, flashing day over the hollowed-out city as it began to stir after the day's inferno. Another flicker, and Tara made out a black bird with sulphur yellow irises perched outside, staring in. She caught her own warped reflection in the glass, her broad, inky body looming over the frail old man shackled to his chair. The room around them, a collector's mess. Long play vinyls piled on gutted computer bodies, old flickering box monitors next to ultra-thin void light displays. For God's sake, child, just take my life. I cannot bear this no more. I'm not this alien thing you name me, the old man pleaded, his voice breaking. What am I doing? Tara thought, looking at the old man, his skin split, teeth gone, body trembling against the chains. Enid's just a horny old guy. Christ, am I the villain? Ah, what are your first thoughts?
So fantastic. Like a lot of, first of all, and this is stupid because we get the cover art, we bought it from a genre we know, but I really like when you have something in that opening line that sets the reader right into the genre. So, clench your heart like a carbon silica seal on a lunar bulkhead. Like, I'm not in fantasy. Like,
Mm.
it just drops you right in there, which I really, really like. There's one little filter that I don't think needs to be there on 5, the Tara made
Horror
out.
made out. Yeah, I
It's
was
not
like, yeah,
egregious.
it's
It's
not
not
terrible,
egregious,
but you don't need it.
but it could be reworked to work that out. We
Yeah.
don't need to look at Tara when there's this really cool black bird with sulfur yellow irises. Like, I'd rather look at that as the subject of the sentence. My only critique is, as good as this opening paragraph is, I think you could lean in a little harder to the hook. So like down here on line 11, that his skin split, teeth gone, body trembling against the chains. I think if something like that was in the opening paragraph, it would just give us that one like ooh kind of moment. I don't think there's
Mm.
anything in the opening paragraph. It's not that it's a bad deal to wait for 3 paragraphs. That's, if you do it in the first page, you're good. I just think there's plenty here. We do get the, as the old man's plea, but we don't really, there's nothing visceral
Mm.
there like it is on 11.
Yeah.
And I think just repositioning 11 in the second or third sentence, working it in there is going to be this, WTF moment right out of the gate. But
Yeah.
again, this is so nitpicky.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm moving something from line 11 to line 4. Like, is it really that important?
The only thing that I would say that you absolutely have to look at is this sentence on 4, because I tripped the hell over it. Flashing day over the hollowed out city as it began to stir after the day's inferno. Like, that
Yeah.
actually bugged me enough that my tongue tripped. So, and you
Yeah.
don't want the reader to have tongue tripping. So I
Yeah.
would take a look at that sentence.
Yeah. The echo
Um,
of day, definitely something I wouldn't do.
yeah.
And then yeah, I was gonna let you do it because you absolutely did
Yeah.
stumble through that one.
Yeah. I was like, what? What?
But that's just a little bit of smoothing out.
Yeah.
Maybe this is enough information that we divide this up into 2 sentences.
Yeah. Yeah, I would maybe consider breaking it up into two sentences, and then yeah, I'd cut that Tara made out, especially because that Tara made out you can. It's actually so simple to cut out because you can just say another flicker, and then just have another flicker, and then have a period, and then say a black bird with sulfur yellow irises perched on the windowsill, staring in. You know.
Or even if you want to make sure that we know that there's like if you want to paint the movie
Mm,
where we get Tara's attention shifting, a flicker of movement caught Tara's attention.
mm,
Perched on the window sill just outside the window sat, you know,
yeah.
a black bird with sulfur yellow irises. But we also don't get her, it doesn't affect her.
Mm.
So it would be nice if the black bird had some effect on the scene.
It would be also nice if she was actively looking away from the old man, perhaps.
Hmm. Maybe
You
she
know,
wants to,
looks
which would
away
also
from him
set,
and her eyes lock onto the bird. That would be interesting.
yeah,
So these are ways in which you can improve it to add some interiority to the description. But this is really nitpicky, like high level stuff. It's not, the opening
yeah.
is solid.
The beautiful thing about editing is editing can never end. Like you can edit
Yeah.
everything. You can edit Shakespeare, you can edit whatever.
Mm,
But what I try to tell all the people in the writer's room is think about what's being edited. When we're editing stuff like, hey, you could push the tension of this, you could push this moment or whatever, and we're not talking about any other like peddly little edits and stuff like that, then that is a fantastic thing because you see how far you are down the path of, you know, being what you want to be in this game.
Yeah.
So trust me, this really high end nitpicking stuff is the best compliment that you can get as a writer.
100%. All right, let's see how Tara gets on. Tara felt her passenger stir behind her eyes. Oh, I'm going to nitpick that one. Tara felt her passenger stir behind her eyes, like a snake uncoiling in quicksilver. A second voice, his voice, rose inside her skull. I sensed doubt in you, Tara. Bliss spilled down her spine at his words, even as bile stung to the back of her throat. Don't believe him, he only lies. I've shown you what he did to us. Sage, please, I don't want to do this. It's too hard, Tara whispered as she wiped away fresh tears with the back of a bloodied hand. Lightning flared again. The storm marked its distance, a warning step closer. Okay, there's one thing I'm going to nitpick, and that is because I have a war, an ongoing crusade against the word felt.
You and me both, sister. Feeling
And you
felt
will
should,
not convince me that it is an adequate word ever. I will always say there's a better way.
yeah. It's one of the
And
worst tells that exists.
in this case, the better way is actually so simple, because you
Mm-hmm.
can just have Tara's passenger stirred behind her eyes like a snake uncoiling in quicksilver. You
Yes.
literally do not need this.
Nope. Because everything that's felt, because obviously this writer's writing in limited, which
Yeah.
is our favorite. Everything that's felt is felt by the POV. So you don't need to say that. And also, this now makes the subject of the sentence the passenger,
Yeah.
not Tara. So Tara felt, the subject is Tara, and the action is felt.
Mm.
When we cut that, now the subject is Tara's passenger, and the action is stirring. And
Yes.
so that is much more engaging, much more visceral, much more in the moment.
Yeah.
So yes, very nitpicky thing. Technically, that's a period at the end of throat on 15. Sorry, 15.
Actually, it's a period here as well, because this ain't a speech tag.
Yes, that is not,
Bliss
that is
spilled
true.
down her spine at his words, even as bile stung to the back of her throat.
Yeah,
This is
that's not a,
what?
none of that is a speech tag.
Yeah.
So, however, loved Bliss spilled down her spine because it
Beautiful.
was like, oh, she's a zealot. Like that says so freaking much. It's a beautiful line.
Mm.
The other thing that I would pick on this one for is that is a tough transition from 16 to 17 because we don't know if when she says sage, because sage is not attached to anything to us as a reader at this point.
Mm.
So we don't know exactly if she's talking to the old man in the chair or if she's talking to the thing in her head. And
Mm.
so I do think that you need a little bit of narration, a small sentence that makes me know I'm talking to the thing in my head, I think is needed there. Otherwise, and again, we talk about this all the time in the writer's room too, about that. The biggest thing that you want to work on in prose is eliminating that ambiguity, that chance for vagueness. Because as I always say, if there's any wiggle room, the reader will always see what you don't want them to see. um, so this is that I would do. I would do something at the beginning of that, just
Yeah.
whatever that makes me know we are only talking to this thing in our head and not to the
Yeah.
dude on the ground.
But the rest of it, really good. Okay.
Yeah.
Time, Tara. Rid the world of him and earn your place with us. His promise and tone returned her focus. Do it now, Tara. Harvest the egg. Remember, we need a clean break. She drew a breath that scraped her throat. Yes, at the Atlas. With an audible exhale, she stepped in behind the old man and wrapped her right arm around his neck. He offered no resistance, closing his eyes. She made a fist with the other hand, pushing 2 knuckles into the base of his skull. Tara closed her eyes and inhaled through clenched teeth. Let it be quick. Let it be done. Yeah, I'm going to pause briefly and say 2 things. Obviously, that's just a typo, no stress there. Speech tags are a problem for this author.
Yes. His promise and tone returned her focus is a sentence. It is not a speech tag.
That's not a speech tag. It's a speech tag only if it explicitly says how it
How?
was said. She said, she whispered, she shouted, she declaimed, she orated, she narrated, she answered, she, you know,
Yeah,
things that.
her drawing a breath that scrapes her throat has nothing to do with how she is saying the piece of dialogue.
Yeah.
Now, this is important because this is great. So I don't use speech tags at all. I don't
Yeah.
recommend anybody don't use speech tags because it does, every once in a while, a speech tag is just nice. But
Mm.
what we're doing here is we're using paragraph structure to make
Yeah.
sure the reader is always grounded in who's talking, which is fine. But now you don't need those commas because
Yeah.
it's a
So that's what I
sentence.
wanted to say. This is beautiful. I love it. I love how
Yeah.
few speech tags we've had. We've had a few and they're fine. They work where they're at. No problems with them. But bear in mind, when it's not an explicit speech tag, the punctuation is a period and capitals, no, not the
Yep.
comma structure.
Yep.
Yeah.
You said you had one more thing?
I do have one more thing.
Because I
Okay,
have two things
so
on this too.
on line 27, we have a piece of what I would call normal internal dialogue. On line 11, we have a piece of internal dialogue that is marked in dialogue tags
Mm-hmm.
and is marked as thought. Now, what I think is happening is that when it's marked as actual dialogue, it's addressed to her passenger. And when it's internal monologue like this, it's addressed to her alone. I think that's what's happening. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But one, obviously that I would need to like read further to confirm that. So I'm just telling the author, make sure that that is your intent. But two, I would recommend hitting that on the nail and putting in somewhere in there a transitionary sentence of some sort, just to be like that this is not a thought intended for Sage, and there is thoughts that she thinks that Sage doesn't hear, because that is a very important distinction for the reader to understand.
And this is, we talk about all the time, called teaching the reader. So if you go up
Mm,
a little bit, so like this, if I'm going to say this line, what am I doing? Well, see, I don't think she's saying that to Sage.
mm,
I think this is a mistake.
okay.
Because she's not going to think, what am I doing to the Sage?
Mm. I don't know. Like, and that's why I'm like, okay, so either this is a mistake and that it's all supposed to be internal monologue, not dialogue like this, or there are thoughts that Sage can hear and thoughts there aren't. But either way, you need to clean this up. As the author,
Yes.
you
Yes, yes,
need to
yes.
clean up what is happening here and what you're teaching your reader to understand.
But as of right now, only what she said out loud is she saying to Sage, which is on 17.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other lines where I feel like she's talking to the thing in her head. So if that's the
Yeah.
case, then that's fine. You just always do dialogue. She always says it out loud. I would
Yeah.
probably have other people react to it eventually. I mean, not this dude that's getting ready
Yeah.
to die, but like if she does speak around other people, you can give the reader permission to know that it's weird because someone
Mm.
else goes, "I'm sorry, did you say something?"
Yeah.
Um, or whatever. But I think up top, that is just a mistake with the dialogue around it, the dialogue quotes around it.
Yeah.
I think that's just inner monologue. You take the quotes away, and I didn't even notice it. I don't know what I was doing there. Which means the second one too, because that's also
I
inner
did, but I
monologue.
thought it was like, um,
Maybe she says that out loud, but this is why it's so
yeah,
important to get the quotes right. You know, as I always say, I don't want the reader thinking about what I wrote. I want them thinking about the
exactly.
story. If they're thinking about like, okay, wait, is this said out loud or is it not said out loud? What does this mean? Now I'm thinking about the writing, and I'm not thinking about the story. And that's not what I want my readers thinking about. I want them thinking about the story. So I want to be very crystal clear in my standardized
Mm,
formatting. Um, Now that being said, I don't know if I would recommend, let's say she does have an inner monologue that is directed at Sage that Sage can hear, and then she has inner monologue that Sage can't hear. I wouldn't do it with quotes. I would probably do something like
stars.
asterisks.
Yeah, I always
Um,
recommend stars for it because it
yeah,
works. Because the reason why I recommend stars is I've seen it in some published work, so it does
yeah.
happen. And I mean,
It
we
is
used it as
becoming.
well, but I
It's
mean, I
actually
have seen
becoming
it.
the standard.
Yeah, but I have seen it in published work, so it's not unfamiliar to readers, and it's an elegant punctuation sign. Because the
Mhm.
problem with like dashes or tildes or stuff like that is they're quite long, so they add like too much space. Whereas because the asterisk is not bigger than a quote, the double quote mark,
They're
it
also in the same spot as the quote.
yeah,
They're up high.
yeah, so it looks elegant, like it
Yeah.
fits elegantly, which very few of the others fit elegantly.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is where we go to teaching the reader. So like let's say what am I doing was said to Sage. So we
Mm,
put asterisks around it, we italicize it, and
mm,
then we have to train the reader because we are breaking standardized formatting. So I would probably write something like Tara thought to the voice in her head or
yeah,
Sage or
yeah,
whatever to let the reader know, hey, when you see asterisks, she's talking to them because you don't do that once or twice, maybe three
mm,
times. You never have to do it again. They
yeah.
you've taught them, they understand it. But I think this is actually a typo, which I completely missed on the first read through. The second one is anyone's guess. She may
Yeah,
have,
so the only reason why I came back to this one is because I read this one, which has got no quote marks, no nothing, and I'm like,
right.
okay, but why is this one different?
Yeah.
And that is what tripped me up. So just as the reader, you want to make sure that you consistently use the formatting that the reader's going to expect when they read it.
Yep. It's
All
a
right.
non-verbal contract. Well, I've got two things still on that too,
Mm,
but it's a non-verbal contract between you and the reader.
yeah.
And you will break their trust if you break that non-verbal contract.
Mm,
So the two things I want to say is one, I love that there's no as you know dialogue.
mm,
So if we look at the dialogue that's on 20, nothing that's said in there is said that they know that that feels like you're talking to the reader and giving the reader information. It does feel like a parent chastising a child. More, time, Tara, rid the world of him and earn your place with us. Do it now, Tara. Harvest the egg. Remember, we need a clean break. None of that. It's written in a way that doesn't feel like it's as you know, Bob dialogue, but it gives the reader actual information that they're like,
mm,
all right. Nothing's explained because Tara knows what harvest the egg means. She knows what we need a clean break means. But it's written in a way that is engaging to the reader, and we go, oh, okay, this is interesting. And so you're not talking down to me. You're making my brain think about trying. Now I'm thinking about the
yeah.
story. Like, where's this going? How does this fit in? That's what we want the reader thinking about. And this is a great example of
And
dialogue that does that.
yeah, and it gives us enough information to keep us reading. Like it doesn't
Right.
confuse me. I don't
Right.
need to know what the egg is at this point, Mum. I
Right.
don't even need to know why Tara wants to earn her place. All I need
Right.
to know right now is that that is what Tara wants, and that's what she's doing.
In this single piece of dialogue paragraph, in this paragraph, we learn both Tara's motivation and Sage's motivation,
Mm,
which is the thing that readers need.
yeah,
And then a little teeny weeny little nitpicking thing. 24, the line he offered no resistance, closing it like that's out of order. Like that's not how I'm trying to paint everything in order so it paints fluidly in the reader's imagination. So he's going to close his eyes and offer no resistance, not offer no resistance and then close his eyes. It's very nitpicky, but that's where we're at with this writer. Um, like these are some nitpicky things, but that'll just, in my mind, again, these are all opinions. In
mm,
my mind, it paints the image better. It's easier on the reader to flow through that sentence, see it visually, and move on. Whereas the
mm,
other one, he offered no resistance. Closing, you have to like think about it for a second. It's just a little speed bump.
yeah.
Again, these are so minor.
All right, let it be quick, let it be done. She wrenched her arm backward, hard. Blood and sweat misted the air around his head as a slick, wet snap cracked through the space. His final breath gurgled through blood. Silence took him. Tara's knees hit metal. With both hands pressed to her mouth, her wail still tore through. With her face in her hand, she held the moment. The silence pressed in, thick, final. Her passenger broke it. Well done, Tara. Okay, I'm going to pause here because I want to make a couple of comments here. So
Yeah, we've got two.
this is solid, right? But I think that this can be elevated in this moment to be higher. Okay, and there's a couple of missed opportunities here for me. Here, with both hands pressed to her mouth, her wail still tore through. And on 31, with her face in her hand, she held the moment. Those two sentences effectively communicate the same thing, but the first one is way stronger than the second one. Like holding the moment doesn't, for me, paint a clear picture. But with her hands pressed to her mouth, her wail, her scream coming through her fingers, to me, paints a much stronger picture. So I would replace this sentence. I would either cut it and go with the silence pressed in, thick, final. And I would, by the way, I would punctuate this differently. I would do it like this. Thick.
The only reason why I might warn
Final.
against that is because we have the fragment in 2 paragraphs before it. So just something to think about. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, cutting that line also gets rid of the echo of the hands in the hands.
Yeah.
Which is nice. So what I would replace it with is, and this is where, you know, I always get into my psychiatrist role. It's like, so you're feeling upset. You're trying to stifle your scream. How does that make you feel? And so if you wanted to go a little bit deeper and allow the reader to live vicariously through the pain, you could give me the mental anguish. This is the external anguish that she's experiencing, but there's no internal, like it doesn't give us exactly how it is impacting her. So that's the thing.
It also doesn't give us why it impacted her. Like, did it impact her? Like, is this the first time she's killed that it's impacting her? Is it because she knew the old man? Is it like what is the inside of the interiority? Because what we get here is the outside of the interiority.
Again, people struggle with that interiority, and I always say, just become a psychiatrist and just go, Tara, how does that make you feel?
Yeah.
And then let the character explain, how does that affect you though? So you did this, but, and that's what we want to do. Now, I also think the other thing I want to add to 30 is I think it's a very hard transition. I think that this would benefit the reader's mind movie if we actually saw what happened to the body. Silence took him, new paragraph, the body slid to the side as Tara's knees hit the metal or something. I think that if we see that motion and see what happens to them, so that we still, because he disappears, the body disappears. The body just goes poof and he's gone. And I think that it would behoove the mind movie if we saw the after effect for the old man.
The body should still be chained, right? So the body should slump in its chains.
Or whatever. Yeah. That's true. I totally forgot it was in chains.
Yeah. But I mean, that's a good point. You forgot it was in chains. So, the body slumped in its chains or something like that. To give you just that little bit of a transition to Tara collapsing to her knees.
Yeah. The body jerked once, then fell still in its chains or whatever. I just think that helps paint that mind. And then we see the transition of her killing him to her falling to her knees. Because when you just go, she killed him, Tara's knees hit metal. It's like, what? Where? Why? How? Did somebody what was the skater that got kneecapped? Like, did somebody just come out of nowhere and kneecap her? Like, what's and so it's a speed bump. It's that speed bump that makes that hurts the mind movie. And so it's not as fluid as it could be. So I would add a little bit better transition between her killing him and her hitting her knees.
And then on line 32, let me just explain why I would make those separate words. Like with the M dash and the commas, it's offset. But
Mhm.
as one word sentences, it really stands out and it gives you that oppressive feeling. The
It
silence
does
pressed in,
it
thick,
does the same thing as hard up here on
final.
28.
Yeah.
And I smiled at that because that's in my class. One of my classes, I actually use hard like that as a fragment when I'm teaching fragments. If I was going to do that, which I actually love the thick final as fragments, I would cut the hard.
Yeah,
She rinsed
I
her arm
also
backward.
don't think the hard does that much, to be honest with you. Like I would cut the
It's
hard as well.
it's fine if that was it.
Yeah.
If you didn't have another one, but because thick and final as fragments is way stronger than hard, I'd
Mm,
cut the hard, keep the thick and final, and just leave it with she wrenched her arm backward,
yeah.
blood and sweat mixed or misted the air around his head as blah 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 blah.
And then real nitpicky, I would say his final breath gurgled without the through blood because you already mentioned blood in this paragraph and it stands out as a word.
Echo.
So, and then last thing, just structurally, it is better for the well done Tara to be sitting right on the same paragraph as her passenger broke it because it helps the reader to understand that her passenger is saying it.
My passenger's not saying it.
He is.
No, he's dead.
Her
That
passenger is in her head.
I thought the passenger go up and to the last bank that is passenger. I thought she referred to the old man that's in the chains as the
No,
passenger.
she says the passenger is her voice in her head.
Oh yeah. Okay. I totally missed that. Um I would solidify that somehow because but we're talking, I mean that's the problem when you start
Yeah, it's a
slicing and
problem when you're
dicing lines.
critiquing a thing. You're not actually reading, so some
Yeah,
of the
it's harder
information.
to remember some of this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Tara's head tipped back, her mouth fell open, her eyes rolled white. A tremor passed through her spine as a cocktail of chemicals spilled into her brain. We are now the same. Come to us. Her eyes rolled back and focus by degrees returned. She rose with unsteady legs. In his chair, the old man's corpse slumped like a broken marionette, his head hanging backward at an unnatural arc. The stink of urine mixed with blood. With a trembling hand, she shut his eyes, their final ritual. Okay. Um, I'm gonna say that I am not in love with the fact that her is used 50 million times in this paragraph. I know it's not 50 million.
Yeah.
Um, but it felt like 50 million when I was reading it. The problem with uh, pronouns is that they can get excessive, especially when they are the start of the sentence and they make the description feel like a bullet point
Hmm.
because it's
And no, go ahead.
yeah. So I would reword some of this.
Yeah. So, and not only do they make it feel like a bullet point and choppy,
Mm,
this is actually, I always dislike when I see writers do this because you're taking what really should be seen as one action in the mind movie and you're chopping, like her head tipped back. I see that. Her mouth fell open. I see that. Her eyes rolled white. I see that. Like it's these choppy
mm,
vignettes as opposed to Tara's head dipped back, comma, mouth falling open, comma, eyes rolling white. Like we see that as one when it's all in the one sentence with
yeah.
the different phrases attached to it as opposed to simple
Mhm.
sentences. And then it just flows so much better. We see it as one action, her head tipping back, her mouth opening up, and her eyes rolling wide in one moment of time, as opposed to three separate moments of time. And it also gets rid of all those excessive pronouns and everything else.
Yeah. And I mean, I
For,
get why writers do this sometimes. They like believe it makes those sentences stronger, but these sentences don't need to be strong. These
mm,
sentences need to lyrically flow because
yeah,
they're all
they need to
descriptive.
paint the movie of
Yeah.
her in agony physically and physically reacting to this,
Mm,
not these little vignettes that
yeah.
feel like individual moments. Now, one thing now that has become a habit for the writer is repetition.
Mm,
So like with 31, with her face in her hands was just a repetition of her hands over her mouth.
mm,
We do the same thing here. 34, we have Tara's head tipping back, and then on 37, her eyes rolled back. Like
mm.
we're still kind of repeating the same thing down there. So we need to, first of all, her eyes are already rolled white, so they don't need to roll back. It's just a really bad echo from
Yeah.
those. Because what that does, especially when it's, so we pick on word echoes all the time, hands
Wait,
and hand.
actually, I think what the author means is her eyes rolled back, as in her eyes had rolled white and now rolled back.
But
But
no one's going to read it that way.
no one's going to read.
They're
Absolutely
going to
not a
read it.
soul
They're
is
going to
going to
read
read
it
it
that
that
they're
way.
rolling back again.
Yeah. So what you
But
want
you're
to
right.
say
You're
is like her vision cleared or something like that, or the blur of the room reappeared before her eyes, or something to show her
something.
eyes coming back.
Yeah. Although I wouldn't do eyes again. I would do
Yeah.
gaze or attention or one of the
Yeah.
other myriad of words because you have the echo of eyes. Um, but the
I
problem
would
where I was going to
actually
say,
just say by degrees her focus returned.
yeah, yeah. Um, But what I was going to say is we pick on echo words all the time, and that's fine because those are a little annoying. The problem with echo actions is it feels like there's a skip in the movie. Like we just saw your eyes roll back, and the next thing your eyes roll back.
Yeah.
And again, you might be thinking back as in back to the front, but that's not the way people are going to read that. But you get this all the time when people are, especially it happens because you're editing and you just miss this, but it'll be like, Drake walked into the room and sat down. Hey, Marie, how you doing? Marie says something, and then Drake sits down and says, blah. It's like, wait, he's already sitting. Like, what's going on? And that usually happens because of editing, and you just
Mm.
accidentally miss it or whatever. But I find echo actions way more egregious than echo words because it
Yes,
really
agreed.
does create a skip in the movie, like that.
Yeah.
It's like the the skip in the Matrix where the cat goes by and
Yeah.
shakes and the cat goes by and shakes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're doing to the reader
Yeah.
in their mind movie.
Yeah. 100%. Echo actions are way more. Echo words are just noticeable to the reader, if they become egregious. There's an
Hmm.
author I really like called John Gwain, and I really do like him. But in his latest trilogy, he's replaced the word mind with thought cage. Now, and memories and thought, like everything you would normally just associate with, like, and that just becomes thought cage. Do you know how repetitious thought cage becomes when you use it in the place of mind? So
Yeah.
be aware of your thought cages, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Lovely image here, by the way. Broken marionette.
Yes. That's what
Great
I
job.
would move up. That's what I'd move up to
Yeah.
right before she hits her knees.
Yeah.
Something like this. I would move that up there. And then that lets us paint that picture of she's done, he's done, she falls down, you know, action, reaction helps us paint that movie. Still, again, we're being so freaking nitpicky. I mean, some of these are a little more egregious as we've gotten down here.
Mm.
Um, but they're still not world ending. Like,
No,
I
no,
don't think any
nothing here is
readers,
world ending. Like,
yeah, I don't think
but
any
this,
readers
but
putting putting this book
they
down.
will make the movie, they will make the thing better,
Right, right,
which is the kind of the
which is
point.
the point.
Yeah. All righty.
I don't
Um,
remember this.
I don't either, but we did, like, it is I don't know. I don't know if it's the same one being resubmitted or if this is a completely new book.
From the same author.
Because I know it's our second one from this author.
Okay.
100 that I'm 100%, I know that 100%. But I didn't actually physically go and check their previous submission to see if this is the same one.
Yeah, because I'm really good at remembering stuff. It was
Yeah.
so funny. And I think I've told this story before, but it just popped in my head. So I was invited to be at a writers convention here in Vegas last year,
Mm,
and they were doing the first page reads because they had agents there. And so they had a stack of them out in the green room where I was just kind of waiting. And so I mean, you're sitting there. So I just started reading the top one. I wasn't going to touch them or anything like that. But I was like, huh, we've edited that on Releasing Your Inner Dragon. Like, so the very top page of this random writing convention that I was invited to, the person that we had already critiqued was the top page
Nice.
of that, which I thought was funny. So then I had to seek the author out and be like, hey, actually, they came up to me because I would never have found them in the crowd, but that was really cool.
Yeah.
And they
That
didn't
is very
punch me.
cool. That is very cool. Okay.
So,
Um, I hope they did well in the convention. Um, okay. Um, with a trembling hand, she shut his eyes, their final ritual. What do I do? Just step outside and prepare to be delivered. Tara took a moment, straightened up, and headed out the low iron door. She stepped outside onto the iron mesh under the obsidian sky. She felt lighter from cool eddies of wind on her back, carrying a metallic scent of ozone. Sydney spread out below her feet, a city that deep into the 21st century had become a corpse stretched across the coast. In the distance, thunderheads reverberated, rolling in from the ocean. The full moon hung low and swollen. Tara noticed the blackbird again, perched nearby, lingering, its yellow irises burning into the soft of her soul. Okay, got a few issues I would like to comment on here.
I got a few.
This felt not correct.
hmm
Um, I feel like Tara should already know what to do. I don't feel like this dialogue feels, as you know, Paul.
Forced,
Yeah,
forced. Yeah.
this feels forced.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, if you flip this around where Sage was like, because he's already said you've done well, and he says now step outside and prepare to be delivered. Like if
mm,
he prompts it, it might feel less
yeah,
forced in that one. But I also marked 41 for another reason.
mm,
It's a missed opportunity to give. So we just went through, oh, I'm torturing this guy. I feel bad about it. Oh, I killed him. It makes me sick. But we never get the relief. So
mm.
like, what do I do? And if you're going to leave this again, I would
Mm.
change it as well. I agree with you. But if we're going to do this,
You
I
could
would
do
like
it
to have,
here as well.
right, exactly. I would like to have that. Okay, it's over. It's over. There's nothing I can do about it. Because we all get that. Like I'll just use this because a lot of people suffer from this, but you're going to get a shot or you're going to give blood or whatever. And you're like, oh, the needle. And you got all that pent up anxiety. And then it happens and you're like, wasn't that bad? Like you have that moment of release where it's like, okay, all right. I mean, I get a needle stuck in me every 3 days. So, um, kind of used to it now, but it needs that. I feel like it's a missed opportunity anyway. And then two other nitpicky things. 42, there's no comma between outside and. And 48, we still don't need that. We don't need that filter. We don't need Terra noticed.
I've
Make
got
the
another one. Okay, so this doesn't need a comma.
mm-mm.
What else?
The 48, we don't need the filter of Terra noticed.
Yeah. But I have another one as well because I read a felt.
Oh, I didn't even see that. What was I looking at when I hit that? I missed
um,
it.
I notice felts like I'm a bloodhound. um,
My mind was somewhere else. I don't even remember reading this line.
and again, it is so simple. Um, eddies of wind, eddies of wind carried a metallic scent of ozone past her, their cool lingering on her back.
Yeah. Or
Just flip the
caressing her back or
sentence so the
kissing her
eddies of
back or
wind is the active part
Mhm.
blowing onto Tara.
Yep.
So
Yep. Which she felt is also a filter. It's just the felt that we hammer on.
yeah,
So you just we don't when you're writing unlimited, it's trusting yourself as a writer and knowing that I'm doing a good job. The reader is inside the character. That means that they know everything that's seen, everything that's heard, everything that's smelled, everything that's felt is all being experienced by this character because I'm not head hopping. I'm not you know, spreading the story around. I'm staying in limited. And as long as you can trust yourself as a writer to stay in that limited, you can trust the writer or the reader to not get lost on who the frick is looking at things
Mm.
because it's a POV.
Yeah.
So it's just building that trust with yourself
Yeah.
and know that you now when you're writing in for inner discourse and omniscient, which is literally the way most people write.
Mm.
Yes, you got to keep doing this stuff because you're in every single head and you're all over the place
Yeah.
and you're doing like as much as I've been complaining about Dragonlance with the he looked, she looked, he looked, he looked, she looked, she
Mm.
looked, she looked. It is an omniscient.
Yeah.
In every given page, you're in 5 different characters' heads. So we don't know who's looking at something. So you
Yeah.
need to say Tanis looked, Tasselhoff looked, Goldmoon looked. Like we have to because we don't know who's looking.
Yeah.
But when you're in limited, trust yourself, trust the POV, trust the pros to
Mm.
deliver that to the reader and stop having me look at the character while they're looking or seeing or feeling or doing something cool. Just
Yeah.
let me experience the cool thing. Turn that into the subject, not the POV.
100%. The other thing that I would say, or the one good things a couple of things, good things I want to highlight. I love a
Oh my
corpse
God.
stretched across the coast. Fantastic,
Oh my God.
beautiful work.
That
Beautiful,
is,
beautiful work.
yeah, that was an
Um,
amazing turn of phrase.
Also well done on giving us our place, our time and place. We understand where we are. The
And I do
Thunder
want to
Edge
talk about this.
reverberating, all of that, fantastic.
I do want to talk about that.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me lingering on this.
Yes.
So, is this an info dump? 100%. Is it 3 words of info dump in the middle of, action and all of that? And we have to get this information to the reader somehow. And like what so many people do is, opening paragraph, it was the 21st century in Sydney and this, that, and like that's what we talk about. That's garbage info
Yeah.
dumping. It's a prose story. You have to teach the reader things. You have to get them information. There's no way to tell a story without giving them
Yeah.
information. So
You've
what you look for is these organic, beautiful, streamlined, engaging ways of getting this is just I love this line.
mm, yeah. It's beautiful because you have to info dump.
Yeah.
Okay. You will never hear either Drake or I say you can never info dump. Okay. The trick is to info dump in such a way that it's like this. The
Yeah.
reader doesn't realize it's an info dump because the line is so beautiful. It just pulls them through while communicating what is going on.
There's a difference between a 5-word info dump deep into the 21st century and a 5-page info dump, which is the encyclopedia of your stinking world that you love more than anyone else in the entire
Yes,
universe.
exactly. Exactly. Okay.
So this is a great, great sentence. Not only the best turn of phrase in this whole thing is right there, and there's been some good turn of phrases, but
Yeah.
the had become a corpse stretched across the coast
It's
is
lovely. It's
God, that paints a picture.
yeah.
Um, and then the really organic get me information. You got to teach me that I'm deep into the 21st century. I need to know where
Mm.
I'm at. I need to know when I'm at. I need to know how I'm at. Like this is information that has to be given to the reader. And so we look for these beautiful little ways, these nuggets to just slip it in. No one even feels it. No one even notices it. Going back to my shot reference, it's like, the doctor's jumping out and giving you the shot and you don't even notice that they gave it to you. You just now are inoculated. So like that's what you're doing here. And it's so awesome. It's
Yes.
or or
Agreed.
or or in something I just had to recently do, it's hiding the medicine in the cheese and then letting the dog eat the cheese.
Yeah.
And they don't even realize that they ate the medicine.
But I do have to say we do have another repetition here. So
Mhm.
she headed out and then she stepped outside.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that. The writer has a problem.
Yeah. Like I
And I
said,
don't
it's
mean to have a
becoming a
big problem. It's not like it's just be aware of it.
well, this is an egregious one when the action echoes, as we've already talked about, I think are
Yeah.
egregious. And this is
Yeah.
now the third one.
Yeah.
Um, and again, it destroys the mind movie for the reader. They see these glitches and they are like,
Yeah.
um,
So yeah, so just be aware of that, and I think that is the thing you probably want to fix most about this. Like everything else we've talked about a little bit. Like I'd fix the filtering and so on, but you definitely want to fix the action repeats.
Now, that being said, I get why this one is done. The other two are just mistakes, but this one, what you're trying to say is in the first line, she's heading out. In the second line, she's actually accomplishing it. But the
I get
problem
that,
that
but
you
you can
have,
do it differently. You can do it
oh
like
yeah,
this. Tara took a
yeah,
moment, straightened up, and headed toward
four,
the low iron door.
yeah,
She stepped outside. That's the
yeah,
simplest thing.
yeah.
It's
That's what I was gonna say.
toward
It's the
instead of
out
out.
and the out.
Yeah,
It's the out and the out that
yeah.
causes the
That
echo
causes the action
of the action.
repetition.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also do it like this. Tara took a moment, straightened up, headed out the low iron door. The iron mesh clanged beneath her boots under the obsidian sky. Or the obsidian sky reflected in the iron mesh beneath her boots, or something like
Or
that.
or even if you just cut outside, she
Yeah,
stepped onto the iron mesh under the obsidian sky.
there we go.
Again, it's the
She's,
two outs. It's by
yeah,
saying headed out and then stepping out. That's the two things that are giving the echo of the action.
yeah,
So cut one or the other and you fix the problem.
yeah. So that's the one thing that I want to highlight just, and the other thing is I would cut this lingering because you've had quite a lot of fragments. This is feeling a little excessive.
And it doesn't have punch.
Yeah.
The fact that the bird is lingering, what does that do to me? Why am I focusing on that? What is that supposed to like? The
Mm,
hard is a slap to the face.
mm.
Not as much as the next one. I can't remember what they were, but
The thick and fast.
yeah, that's a serious gut punch. When
Mm,
you're using one word, so two things. When you're using one word filtering, it needs to be a punch in the gut, and two, you don't want to overuse it because then you weaken the power of them when you use them too much.
yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Um, oh, lovely, lovely soft of her soul. That was also a very nice little
Hmm.
turn of phrase there. Are you judging me, mister? The pied Currawog offered her no response. Tara remembered her Tara remembered her passenger's words and started to strip off her started to strip off her clothes. Standing bare, she could sense the ghost of rain stirring in the nearby treetops. Bliss, her passenger's omen, fell over her. Pay attention to your old home. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I'm confused, and two, there's two things that I hate with a fiery passion. And the author triggered both of them. One is Tara remembered.
Hmm.
It's another filter, you don't need it. But here, she didn't start to strip off her clothes. Clearly, she stripped off her clothes because she's standing bare in the next sentence.
Yep.
You do not need that started. That started is weak.
Yeah. There's only two times that I use those wishy-washy started to began to all of those. One,
Yeah.
if the action is interrupted. She started to strip off her clothes, but the bird pecked her in the eye. Like, okay, she didn't finish stripping off her clothes, but I
Yeah.
want you to see her start. Um, or two, if the act of starting, sometimes the act of starting is important for the mind movie.
Mm.
So, you know, like maybe it isn't here, but I'm saying maybe there's a way to start stripping here because I need you to see the start of it because I'm doing something with that. It's still going to finish,
Mm.
but there is no payoff for that. There's no reason why we're watching her start.
Yeah. Then instead of Tara remembering, I need the passenger's words to be more clearly connected to her stripping. Because all the passenger said was prepare to be delivered. I
Mhm.
don't, for me, there's no connection there. So I
Right.
want that connection to be drawn more clearly. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, Lovely turn of phrase, ghost of rain, beautiful. Then,
Except for we have another filter there. She could sense.
yes.
Now,
Mm,
this one is not egregious. This is not one that's like, because maybe we do want the reader to see that she is sensing.
yeah.
So I, this might be a filter that you want
That
to
you
keep.
keep. Mm,
But I am bringing it up that it's
Yeah.
one more filter. And when you have a bunch of filters that are not needed, it weakens when you do have a filter that maybe you do want.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know the story. Maybe the reader doesn't need to know that she's sensing. Like she doesn't actually have a superpower for
Yeah.
sensing the ghosts of rain. So, and I also don't know why standing bear has anything to do with sensing rain.
Yeah.
Um,
That it
when
doesn't.
you mix phrases and clauses, I try to make them as intimately related as possible.
Mm.
So I'd probably do something like she stood bare feeling this thing. Of course, not using the word feeling,
Yeah.
but feeling this thing, period. And then
Like,
if I don't need her to have the superpower of sensing rain, I might do something like instead of standing bare, you know, her hair whipped around on the wind that carried a ghost of rain stirring
or
the
the
nearby
ghost of
treetops.
rain, the ghost of rain stroked over her bare skin.
Yes, there you go. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Or the ghost of rain rippled the nearby trees, caressing her bare skin as she stood doing this thing or whatever. Yeah, there's all sorts of ways to do it. But the filter, again, this is the reason why we're so against filters. They're telly, they're weak.
Mm.
They just don't do what you think they do
Yeah.
most of the time. But again, this could be a filter that the writer's like, no, 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 I need you to see that she's actually sensing this thing. So I'm going to say, because again, it's not about not filtering.
Mm.
It's about making sure the camera points to the subject that you want the camera pointed at. Up above, Tara noticing and all that. I don't want the camera on Tara. I want the camera on the thing. But here, maybe the camera needs to be on her sensing and not on the rain. But
Yeah.
I I think I would do it different.
Yeah. I don't think this is a superpower. I think it's just a lyrical description.
I do too.
But
I was just trying to play devil's advocate
I know.
and give the writer credit.
On line 54, I actually, for the first time, I was confused and didn't know what was going on. Because we'd had Bliss spill down her spine up above. Now suddenly Bliss is her passenger's omen and it's falling over her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's saying, pay attention to your old home. And I'm like, I'm now not following. I don't like, it wouldn't necessarily stop me reading onward, but it would be a little niggle of like, for the first time, I feel a little bit like, like I'm a fantasy author. I'm used to rolling with weird words and going like somebody will explain eventually what it means, as long
Mm-hmm.
as I can kind of understand from context what it means, or kind of in the ballpark. But this phrase, despite it all being in English, doesn't actually make sense to me.
Right.
And that is a different thing from I don't fully understand this word.
We talked about this last night in the writer's room
Yeah.
in my group, which was my rule of 3 lines. You have no more than 3 lines to teach the reader your fantasy speak.
Mm.
And it doesn't have to be like an info dump, but it has to be something that makes me go, okay, I kind of understand what that is based off of context. And that's all we need,
Yeah. The
which
problem
I
with
think
this
we
is,
get a lot of in this.
yeah, and it's all very well done. The problem is right here. I don't know why Bliss spilled down her spine up above, and now it's her passenger's omen.
Mm-hmm.
Like that connection's not working for me. So just take a look at that, and
Make sure this. So, how I try to get people to approach this is take a step back, ask yourself, what am I trying to make the reader feel, learn, understand, get from this sentence? What is the information? Just write it out as information. I'm trying to make you get this thing.
mm,
And then look at the sentence and see how to write it to where it does its job. Every sentence has a job, and that's what we're trying to do.
yeah. Um, she inhaled sharply on seeing a flicker of green light shooting out from behind the moon, growing as it streaked closer at impossible speed across the void. It carved a bright green scar through the sky above her, entering the atmosphere. High above her, a perfect black square draped in a haze of green light drifted down, Tongues of white St. Elmo's fire scurried across its flawless surface. Near her, the approaching phenomenon resolved into a flat pane, a mirror capturing a million stars in its depthless refraction. It stopped, level with her feet, holding still, suspended. This is fine, but there's a hell of a lot of pronouns you don't need.
There's also a lot of echoes.
Yeah.
So like on 57, we have the sky above her, and on 57, we have high above her. But the funny thing is that you don't need the first one, because when you say a green through the sky, we kind of know the sky's above her.
Yeah.
So that first one on 57, we don't need the above her. You could literally just cut that and not even lose anything.
Yeah.
But we get another echo. It's not above her, so it's not as egregious, but 59, the near her also. But we don't even need that, because again, the
And
approaching
don't need it. Yep.
phenomenon, yeah, like you can literally just cut that, because it's going to land at her feet, and
Yep.
that's going to give us where it is in relation to her.
Exactly. My goodness, we are going to reach the end of a chapter, Drake.
Well, or at
it's
least an end of the submission.
it's a miracle.
It is. And we've
Each
made this thing bleed, but this is fantastic.
Yeah,
This is
very,
good
very
stuff.
good. Very good. Each with a unique rhythm, the grains of reflected light began to oscillate. Flowing with shared intent, they amassed at the mirror's center, forming a bright, growing sphere. The sphere pulsed, then elongated, unrushed, to meet Tara's eyes. With a ripple, it shifted shape to a frail, featureless man in a robe of light. Matakan, her eyes wide, tears pressing both hands flat, tear,
Yeah.
tears pressing both hands flat to her chest. The figure offered a quiet smile and extended its hand. Tara, welcome. Take the last step. She held its gaze, inhaled, and stepped. Okay. This sentence
Yeah.
needs help.
That's tough. Yeah.
It needs help. Like it needs to lie on a couch and be spoken to.
Also, it has the dialogue problem. That's
Yes, the
Meccan
dialogue.
period, her capital. That's not a speech tag.
Yeah.
I'm also not a fan of the echo of step on 67 and stepped on 68. I don't know what she's doing, but you could do take the last step. She held its gaze, inhaled and embraced him, or
Something.
or we can go the other way. Tara, welcome. Finish this.
Mm,
She held her gaze, inhaled and stepped. Whatever. Like I don't know the author's story, so I don't know exactly, because this doesn't paint anything for me.
mm,
That last line, when you just say she stepped what? Stepped into his embrace, stepped
mm.
past him, stepped into him. I don't know. I think that could be finished, but the echo of step and step doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then yeah,
Also, you do not need began. It can just oscillate. I promise you.
so if you scroll up just a little bit to that last sentence, it seems like a lot of repetitive words that all mean oscillate.
Mm,
I just feel like there's, we got pulsed, we have oscillated, we've got stars in their depthless reflection. Like I don't know, it felt like I
the,
was reading the same thing over and over again.
yeah, I would say you're a little over described here.
I feel like it, and that's very nitpicky, because this threatens to step into the changing the author's voice. So take this with a grain of salt. I'm just telling you, as a reader, it felt repetitive, but I don't want to affect your
Mm,
voice. If this is the way you want to describe it, there's nothing wrong with it.
yeah,
Just letting you know from a subjective opinion, it felt very over the top.
yeah. No, I agree with that. I think it like, but and I would like to know who Makatan is to her,
Mm-hmm.
rather than just a description, external description. I would like a Mokatan, the guy she just killed, Mokatan, her father Mokatan, her mentor Mokatan, like
The
something.
god Makatan.
God Mokatan, like what is Mokatan to her? I would like to know that in this
Yeah.
movie.
Makatan, um, you know, her soul ripped in half,
Yeah,
knowing I wouldn't use the word knowing, but I'm writing out of my mouth.
yeah,
She wasn't worthy to stand before him,
yeah,
whatever. That anything that gives us more than just
something.
because her eyes widening and tears going out and her pressing her hands to her chest doesn't make us understand why she's doing any of this
Yeah.
stuff.
Like we get that she feels awe and wonder, but we don't understand why. And
Right.
understanding why comes with that internal, like, what is he to her?
Yes.
And
100%.
that's what you need. When we say deepen your interiority, that's what we mean. We mean beyond showing us the emotions, take us inside and give us the why, give us the internals.
Readers need to understand why things are happening.
Yeah.
Then it has impact. Like even if she doesn't say Makatan, if it said the god Makatan, having never, whatever, I don't know. I hate writing in my
Mm.
mouth, but the god Makatan stepped out, her eyes widened, like, and then even that we know, holy crap, okay, it's a god in front of her.
Yeah.
Most people realize in fantasy and sci-fi, and again, this is sci-fi, so it's probably not a god, but I'm a fantasy guy, so I'm gonna go to God. But yeah,
Yeah.
man, good stuff. Like I know we made this bleed because we can make anything bleed.
Genuinely, this
This
was
is
good. Like,
this is some good
this
stuff.
was very, very solid.
Yeah,
I'm going to stop sharing.
yeah.
It was, I mean, we made it all the way to the end. We enjoyed it. We had very little,
We didn't spend an
we had
hour talking
stuff
about
to
the first three
nitpick. And I
paragraphs.
would say that you've got 3 things that you need to look at: repeated actions, filters, and those dialogue tags. Them
Hmm.
dialogue tags need some fixing.
Yeah,
But other than that, like really good job.
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
A few missed opportunities from some interiority. But yeah, we didn't spend an hour editing the first 3 paragraphs,
Yeah. Good job.
which happens. So yeah,
So,
no, that's some good stuff.
yeah.
Hopefully you're grinding away at that and working on getting a finished manuscript, because there's nothing better than writing those 2 magical words, the end,
Indeed.
which I've been doing a lot of lately. Of
And I
course,
think that
I'm
that
behind on
is a good
everything.
note on which to end this episode. And we will see you soon for another one.
Bye. If you are ready to take your writing to the next level and work with a group of highly motivated, dedicated writers who are all working to not only improve their writing, but improve your writing, plus you get to work with me on a weekly basis, then I'll encourage you to check out writersroom.us. This is a website that I have created that I really wish I had 30 years ago. It's everything a writer needs to become a better writer. Not only do we do weekly critique sessions, both from other members as well as me, we have daily writing sessions, I do monthly classes, Q&As, we have activities, I do all sorts of learning exercises, such as I do a quarterly writing prompt contest, and just tons and tons and tons of things. So if you're ready to get serious about your writing and you want to actually finish that novel and have a chance of it being published, then I encourage you to head on over to the writer's room and join me there. And as a special promotion for listeners of Releasing Your Inner Dragon, I'll go one step more. If you would like to get 50% off for 3 months, reach out to me. There's a million ways you can do that. You can do it through starvingwriterstudio.com, drakeu.com, any of my social medias such as LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, X, whatever. Reach out to me, say that you would like to check out the Writer's Room for 50% off, and I will send you a link that will allow you to do just that. So hopefully you're ready to start getting serious about writing, and I'll see you in the Writer's Room.
Thank you for tuning in. This is Marie Mullaney, your co-host on this literary adventure. Our goal is to provide you with valuable insights and discussions on writing. If you believe in our mission, please like and subscribe our podcast. Sharing our episodes with your community not only helps us grow, but also contributes to a richer, more diverse conversation about storytelling. We appreciate your support. For a deeper understanding of the topics we've discussed, head over to Just in Time Worlds on YouTube. It is a treasure trove
where fantasy meets history and science. Every Tuesday, you'll find new videos that delve into the intricacies of world building, drawing from our rich real-world history. Whether you're a writer, a role player, or just a fantasy enthusiast, Just in Time Worlds offers unique insights that will enrich your perspective. Check it out and join the journey of crafting incredible worlds.